Hello, this is Heather, aka Planner Mumsy. Join me for my Part 2 DC Pen Show video. Stay tuned. We are here at the 2024 DC Pen Show with Bert from Bertram's Inkwell. Thank you, Bert, for coming for this interview. So, Bert, we just wanted to ask you, as far as like selling pens and having a brick and mortar, what really got you into doing this?
Well, many years ago, when I was actually in high school, I was working the pen counter at a Hallmark store. And it was a very busy counter to the point where it was where the checkout was. And when I was showing pens, it got in the way of the people checking out in the store. I was assistant manager in the pen department per se, and the manager left the company. And after he left, we got these 3 big black pens in. We had no idea what they were. And it turns out they were Mont Blanc 149s. The Mont Blanc 149 at that time was $209. And we didn't know what to do with them. We were not selling pens for $200. And the store manager said, just put them out and see what happens. Didn't want to be bothered sending them back or anything. And within 10 days or 2 weeks, I had sold all 3 of them. And that was the beginning of my passion for the better fountain pens. Moving forward a year or so, the Parker Pen salesman at the time said to me, you should open up a pen store. And I thought to myself, a pen store, what's that? And he suggested I visit a store in downtown Washington called Farney's. And from that point on, I realized this is exactly what I want to do. I want my own pen shop. And in 1985, I opened Bertram's Inkwell in White Flint Mall in Rockville, Maryland. It was a rough start in the beginning because everybody thought I was crazy. But 40 years later, we're still going strong and still have a passion for it every day. Absolutely.
Wow, that's an amazing story. So as far as all of the range of pens that you sell, what would you say is your personal favorite?
That's a really, really tough question. I love my Mont Blanc 149 to this day. In the rotation currently I have a Parker Duofold from the like 1990s with a cursive italic nib, which I love to do my personal correspondence with all my customers. And on the back I always let them know what I wrote, what kind of pen it was, and what kind of ink it was, which is always a neat little gift at the end of a note. Currently I'm writing with my own exclusive Appalachian Springs. This is a pen I commissioned with Monte Carlo. I'm an avid Appalachian Trail hiker, so I found this material to kind of reflect the waters of the streams, the greenery of the trees, and the stars at night when you're camping under the moon. So I made 18 ballpoints and 50 fountain pens. Of course, they're all different. Some will have more of one color or the other, but just a gorgeous pen that I'm really happy with. So those would be my favorites right now. I'm an avid Pelican collector and pretty much anything else that writes. But the fun story is in the shop, we sell lots of pens from everybody, but the #1 unit, we sell more units of TWSBI than any other brand, which starts at $30 and up, which is pretty incredible.
Now, for first-time fountain pen buyers, is TWSBI what you would recommend to them?
Absolutely. I've got 3 first-time pens in the shop. One, of course, is the TWSBI, the Pilot Metropolitan, and the Lamy Safari. The Lamy Safari is a little bit longer, but it's got a great knurl section at the front, which makes it very easy to hold the nib properly on the paper. The Pilot Metropolitan is a more traditional pen in aluminum with a finer nib than most people like, and I tend to go with a wider nib, a medium, for first-timers. The TWSBI, on the other hand, with the piston fill, we actually draw the ink up from a bottle of ink. It's kind of fun to see the ink sloshing around in there, and every time we put a TWSBI to paper, it writes immediately. So it's just a fabulous product.
All right. Now, how can our viewers actually find you? Obviously, if they can't show up to your brick and mortar, how can they check out your stuff?
Well, with BertramsInkwell.com. Just Fountain Pens, Rockville, Maryland. Google it. We're there.
All right, and I can also tell you that Bert personally just helped me find the Esterbrook Esty and the Sweet Dreams, and he was very gracious to kind of go through that pen and kind of help me pick out exactly what I needed. So you can always get a hold of him. Is it better via email, or should they call you, or what's best?
Email and phone is always the best. I'm not a young man, so messaging through Instagram and Facebook and all the accounts, sometimes I miss that. But phone call and email, I guarantee I'll get back to you.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Bert. We appreciate you talking with us. I'm here at the DC Pen Show with Deril Pens, Adolphus. So, Adolphus, can you just tell us, how long have you been making fountain pens?
I've been making fountain pens about 30 years. I started doing kid pens, then I went to making fountain pens about 10 years ago. And we've been doing it ever since.
Wonderful. Now, can you tell us, as far as any challenges that you find at all with making the pens? Do you have any at all?
Well, we have stainless steel that we're going to be bringing in our lineup, and that might cause a little bit of a challenge, which is good because we need a challenge. But being that I work with all different types of materials, stone, wood, and acrylic, the stainless I think is going to bring the most challenge.
Okay. Now, can you just show us what your favorite model pen is that you make?
Well, my favorite model is our Deril pen, which is rounded on both ends, and that's the one we started with, and that's one of our favorites.
All right, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Now, where can the folks find you online if they want to purchase your pens online?
They can find us on DerilPens.com. We have a Etsy site as well as a website, and they're both under DerilPens.com, and you can find them on either one of those.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right.
We are here at the Washington, D.C. 2024 Pen Show with John from Hello Tello Studio. John, we just kind of wanted to talk to you about the really unique pens that you make, and we were wondering if you could tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, what's unique about my pens is that I use glass that we source from Venice. I lived in Italy for 10 years, and so a lot of these have that Italian inspiration behind them. So they're Millefiori Venetian glass that I design based on the colors, and so each one has a different design that complements the material. And so it's a lot of handwork, a lot of love and artistry that gets put into each one of the pens. But each finial is different, it's unique, and really speaks to the material in the pen in terms of the finials.
Nice. So how long have you been making pens?
I've been making pens for about 6 years. 3 of those were in Italy, and I was doing that there, and then 3 years now here as I've been back in the States, but constantly developing and growing and trying to provide new designs and new things to the customers in this wonderful pen community.
Wonderful. Now, what would you find to be the most challenging when you're making pens?
I think one of the most challenging parts for me is the glass work, because the pieces of glass, they're not consistently round, they're not the same diameter, so in each finial it's like a jigsaw puzzle that you're putting together, and so it takes time finding the right combinations that perfectly fit into each finial. But not only that, they are glass, and so you have to grind them, you have to smooth them, and you have to polish. And if you've ever tried to get a scratch out of a piece of glass, it's not no small task. And so there's a lot of handwork that goes into these pieces. So, for example, each piece of glass work takes me from 2 to 4 hours to do from start to finish.
Wow, that's really amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and we really appreciate it. Now, how can folks find you online?
You guys can find me on Instagram, Hello Tello Studio, or on my website, hellotellostudio.com.
Okay, thank you. I continually struggled with audio during doing these videos. I definitely need to make sure that I have a different setup next time I plan on doing it. But as you can see here, this was the video that John did kind of showing all of the little pieces for his finials. And then I just kind of show you the pen and how everything really meshes together. And the tips, his pens are absolutely stunning. The rest of this footage is just of me walking around looking at the different booths and stations. Enjoy!
Because it's involved and this is soft.
Nothing, I'm just kidding. I know that one after 27 years.
Yeah, so I got him to the light. I have it here too. You got it? Yeah. You I got the blue brother. Oh. How do you feel about that? Let me know. It feels pretty good, right? Yeah. What's nice about this?
You know, back in the 1950s and 60s, they were known for having all different nib sizes. So when we started the brand again in 2019, we wanted to have that same kind of feeling for the brand. So we offer a full range of nibs, extra fine through stub, and then we work with some small like nib meisters, you know, Josh Lax, Kirk Spear, Gina, and so we make custom nibs also. And then, so if you buy an SD, the nibs are threaded, so you can buy a fine, you can get an extra fine another time. So, you know, it's satisfying, you know, to know that you have a pen that's versatile like that. So,
Right. And so how much are these?
So the SD standard model is $195, and we give a show discount, 10%. So this is an SD, this is the SD range, this is the Model J, which is a little bit different. This is like a specialty pen that we made. It's a demo, and the theme around it is cherry blossoms. So
That fits.
we'll take the theme and we call it back to the land. It's like going back to the 70s. You know, feeling some nostalgia for those thin road trips. Do you have an SD?
I don't actually.
Okay.
So right now it's funny because I'm like, I'm right
Number 8, I think. This is like pulled out. It's like, yeah. Demo rules.
Not that I haven't either, though.
some people that complain about the placement of the clip, mostly left-handers, but that's one of the really cool things about this pen is it kind of forces you to hold the pen how it wants to be held. The way a fountain pen works is you've got 2 tines, it's cut right down the center. When you put pressure on the page, it splits those 2 tines to release a flow of ink. And so you want to get those 2 tines as evenly on the page as possible. The angle thing is going to be a little bit of a subjective thing. Most angles will work.
Tell your friend thank you as well. It's my pleasure. I know he's going to be delighted.
He's gonna think about it.
If you don't have one here,
Thank you for watching the footage that I took from the 2024 DC Pen Show. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below, like and subscribe, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye!
Yeah,